Hi, I'm Budman, and I'm going to show you the design, the construction, and the installation of this marble floor I did in my office and foyer. Since this is the first time I did a project of this size in marble, the first thing I needed to do was to put together a good plan, and to do that I did it using Google's free SketchUp package. The entire floor for the office and the foyer were laid out using Google SketchUp to very accurate dimensions. The first thing I needed to do was to create a layout fixture for each component of this floor. To do the rosettes, I built this fixture, and the way it works is this. I printed out the 12 by 12 square, or the design of the rosette. I needed 8 of these. And in each square, I laid that design in first. I used a contact adhesive. On top of the design, I then put a piece of clear plastic. Now the reason for that is I needed to make it so that when I glued the marble down to the design, it wouldn't stick to it. On top of the plastic then, I laid my marble mesh. Now each piece was glued to this mesh using just plain old Elmer's glue. The next step in this process is, of course, to cut each one of the pieces necessary for the layout. I did batch cut the pieces as I needed them. One thing I will tell you is do not, under any circumstances, buy a cheap saw. I saw this saw that I'm using here in Harbor Freight, and I thought, boy, that looks pretty slick. I'm going to buy that. I did. I think I spent a couple $100 for it, and I wore it out just on this project. It did get tough to use. Notice that on the wet saw, I did fixture the pieces in place using some non-conventional fixtures like a carpenter square. Each piece is glued into the pattern on the jig in its place and spaced properly with spacers. Now, you're probably wondering about the holes in the design. Notice that the 4 corners of this rosette and the center have a round hole in them. Well, what I did to cut those holes was this. I used a conventional small $99 drill press, and I made a wet saw out of it. So I bought the wet saw bit and actually used a medical drip bag to drip water into the little pool that I used. I used clay, molding clay, to pool the water for each drill that I did. So I had to cut a lot of holes in 2 colors of tile. The next thing I needed to do was design a fixture for the connecting, I'm going to call it a scallop design. Again, the marble needed to be cut for this design and glued to the fixture. Once again, I know that there's people that have $200,000 machines that can do this probably in a matter of a day or a couple of hours, but this being my first attempt at something like this, I did it all by hand. And by the way, black marble cracks very easily, so I did waste quite a few pieces of marble. I used hardy backer as the underlayment for my marble. Again, this floor was laid on top of the hardy backer to 1/8 inch grout lines, so all my cuts had to be pretty well dead on for it to come out according to my original SketchUp design. SketchUp is a fantastic product. If you haven't downloaded your free version of it, it allows you to do some pretty phenomenal things. So here's a picture of the final product, looking from the hallway into this office, and of course the office. If you should decide to take on a project like this, have fun. I did, and I was happy with the way it turned out, even though it was the first time I did such a thing as this. Anyhow, thanks for watching.